Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to talk about the confirmation coming from Ronald Koeman. Ronald Koeman has made it very official on Instagram and Twitter that he will be staying with Barcelona onto the next season. And this is some huge news because, like I have said before, this does change everything. And I do think that his confirmation that he is going to be staying with Barcelona is very important, because the ones that really did need an answer, it was people like Joan Laporta, Alemán, and the new hire, which is Jordi Cruyff. These are three men who needed to know whether Ronald Koeman was going to continue with this club, yes or no. And the main reason why I'm saying this is because one of the two players that has been on a hold to enter Barcelona, it has been Memphis Depay and Wijnaldum. These are two players that have been highly admired coming from Ronald Koeman. He wants these two players to wear the Barcelona shirt, and he has worked with them before. But here's the thing, the ones that really did need an answer to know whether Koeman was going to continue or who was going to be that next coach for the next season, it was the squad players. There are many players within the squad that were waiting to see whether Koeman was going to continue, yes or no. And that is going to lead us towards what we are going to be discussing today, which is what players should we expect to leave Barcelona in this coming summer of 2021. The transfer window is set to be open in a couple of days, and Barcelona, Joan Laporta, Matteo Alemany, Jordi Cruyff, they do have a lot of work to do. So we are going to go based off the past season, because I think that in the past season, it really did show us that Ronald Koeman does have a set of players that he does want to use, and the players that he does not plan on using, he really does show that. You rarely see the players that barely get any minutes. So starting with player number one, and that is going to be Samuel Umtiti. When it comes to this player, he is simply just not fit most of the time, and every time he does come back and he is fit, he does not look as mobile as he used to a few years back. So Samuel Umtiti is going to be a player that will be leaving in the summer. Moving on to player number two, Sergi Roberto. I do think that Sergi Roberto is a great player, but he could be a great player elsewhere. I do not think that Sergi Roberto has the demands at this very moment in order to give Barcelona the results that Barcelona do require as a right back, and he is simply just not what Barcelona do need. And you look at the age that Sergi Roberto has right now, this is the best time for Barcelona to sell this player. And I do think that Sergi Roberto himself and the club do know that it is best to part ways, as they are seeing the future very differently. Moving on to player number three, and that is Junior Firpo. Junior Firpo is going to be one of the most easiest players Barcelona could be selling in the summer. There is demands coming from England, there is demands coming from Spain, and there is demands coming from Italy. And there has been reports stating that Junior Firpo could be worth around 18 to 20 million euros. And at that price tag, Barcelona are going to be very eager to sell a player like Junior Firpo, as he is also a player that is not in the plans moving forward. And one of the players that Barcelona do want to introduce next season, it is going to be Alejandro Balde. And when you have Alejandro Balde, who is a academy player, and you have a player like Jordi Alba competing for that spot in the left back position, it would be a great thing to see, and Barcelona do want that. Moving on to player number four, and that is Pjanic. Pjanic has made it very clear in the past season that he had a very big problem on not playing. He wanted to play, and he questioned Koeman and asked, why haven't I gotten any minutes in the past season? And Pjanic is a player that does want to play, and we have to remember that the only reason why Pjanic is in Barcelona, it was because ex-president Bartomeu wanted to balance the books. That is basically it. There was no sporting reason on why Pjanic was joining Barcelona. And looking at who Juventus just appointed as the new coach of that club, it is Allegri, a coach that has coached Pjanic before. And I have no doubt that Pjanic is probably looking at this hire coming from Juventus and saying, I have to go back. I know exactly who Allegri is. Allegri is a coach that I do highly admire, and so that is going to be the best move for Pjanic. It is to go back to Juventus. Moving on to player number five, and that is going to be Lenglet. This is a center back that does have a lot of room to grow. He is still a very young center back, but after seeing the past two seasons that Lenglet has had, it has been atrocious. He had moments where he was brilliant up against oppositions throughout the past 2 years, but overall, about 90% of the time, Lenglet is not that player that Barcelona can count on in the future. And looking at the oversaturation of center backs that is currently happening, Barcelona are on the verge of saying that we are going to want to officially move on away from Lenglet. So Lenglet is going to be a player that could be leaving in the coming summer. Moving on to player number six, and that is going to be Martin Braithwaite. Martin Braithwaite has been performing tremendous for FC Barcelona, not to the level where Barcelona can say this is our official number 9, but for his level specifically, on the individual level, he has improved. But I do think that Barcelona are also going to be saying we're going to move on. We have the implementation of Sergio Aguero, and Memphis Depay could be coming in a couple of days. And if you have Aguero and Depay coming into the front line, there is going to be no room room for a player like Martin Braithwaite. And there has been reports stating that there are clubs in the EPL who would love to have a player like Martin Braithwaite. So he will be another player that Barcelona will look to sell. Moving on to player number 7, and that is going to be Felipe Coutinho. I do think that this is probably one of the most disappointing transfers Barcelona has ever had, because he is one of the most expensive transfers Barcelona have had. And the fact that we saw Coutinho fail miserably in this way with Barcelona, it is almost an embarrassment. And many of us really do wish that today we could say that Coutinho has succeeded with Barcelona, but at the end of the day, it has not worked out. So when it comes to Felipe Coutinho, the price tag is going to be big for this player, and Barcelona are going to want to capitalize off of this. And the club, Barcelona, and even the player himself knows that the best solution for both parties would be for Coutinho to part ways from Barcelona. Moving on to player number 8, and that is Mateus Fernandes. Mateus Fernandes has been introduced into the first team back on August 2020. Many people did not know who this player was because he did not get any presentation. Barcelona had no time or the audacity to present a player like Mateus Fernandes, and that is why many fans do not even know who this player is. And many sources have claimed that Mateus Fernandes does not perform at the level that he should be performing at during the training sessions. And looking at the amount of players that is emerging in his position, which is the central defensive midfield position, Barcelona are going to want to move away from Mateus Fernandes and sell this player, because there is players like Busquets, Nico Gonzalez, Frankie de Jong, and Wijnaldum who could be playing in his position. And now I do want to move on towards the last 2 players, and this is where everything is going to get controversial, because I understand that there are many fans within this channel that do like these 2 players that I am about to name. But we are going to start with the first player, and that is Dembele. Dembele, in the past season, he probably did have his best season yet. He was scoring goals, he was providing assists, and so Dembele has performed very well on an individual level. But here's the thing that really does worry me. Dembele's contract ends in the summer of 2022. He literally only has 1 more year left in his contract, which basically means that Barcelona and Dembele are going to have to heavily negotiate to see if he wants to renew with this club, yes or no. And a decision is going to have to be made. And here's what gets very interesting. I do not think that the club, nor the fans, nor anyone within the squad know whether Dembele is committed to this club. And that is going to leave a huge question mark, because if Dembele says, I do not want to renew, I want to run out my contract and potentially leave in the summer of 2022, then Barcelona are going to be very eager to sell this player in the summer. There is no way Joan Laporta is going to want to let go of Dembele in the summer of 2022 for free. And let's take this towards a different direction. I really do hope that Barcelona is aware that if they even want to have the chance to sign a player like De Ligt from Juventus, one of the players that can actually make that happen, it could be Dembele. Dembele is the key towards having a chance to sign De Ligt. And this is a player that has been highly admired from Barcelona, and this is also a player that we know is going to greatly strengthen our defensive line. And historically, in the past 2 years, Juventus were always interested in Dembele. And if Matteo Alemany and Jordi Cruyff and Joan Laporta can examine that and be very well aware on what they could do, a deal could be made regarding these 2 players. Because let me tell you, if Barcelona can have De Ligt, Araujo, Eric Garcia, and Mingueza within their center back options, this is going to be a great thing to see. This is going to be probably the dream defensive line that Barcelona and every fan have always wanted. The only way we could say that Dembele should be staying with Barcelona is if we do start to hear that Dembele is very committed to the club, that there are people within the board that want to plan and strategize what they want to do with Dembele, then that is where everything is going to change. Because if you have a plan for the player like Dembele, then by all means go for it, because he is a great player. But the moment we do find out in the summer that there are some board members that do not plan to have Dembele, and that Dembele is not fully committed to this club, then yes, you do sell that player, because this club can no longer be a club where we have many players within the squad that are not committed, or there are people within the board that do not plan on heavily using this player or have a plan for this player. Barcelona can no longer be that club, but we have been that club in the past 3 to 4 years. But under the management of Joan Laporta, there needs to be better answers, and it needs to be better run. And so now this is going to lead me towards Antoine Griezmann. This is going to be another player that Barcelona could be selling, and we have heard reports on Barcelona Barcelona saying that they are open to sell Antoine Griezmann, but only for a good price. And here's the thing, if there was a time to sell Antoine Griezmann, it would be in this summer, because my biggest worry is for Barcelona to repeat what they have done with Ivan Rakitic. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the summer of 2019, PSG went up to Barcelona and says, we want to offer 80 million euros for Ivan Rakitic. And guess what Barcelona said? They said, no way, Ivan Rakitic is a player that we highly admire. He can still give us tremendous amount of results. You're not giving us 80 million euros for Ivan Rakitic. We want this player. And then only to find out about a year and a half later, Ivan Rakitic leaves Barcelona for almost for free when they could have sold him for 80 million euros. And Ivan Rakitic at that time was at the same age like what we see with Antoine Griezmann today. And looking at the Euros that is about to happen, we should expect that Griezmann is going to perform very well with France, because Griezmann is a great player. And the moment he does give out a performance at such a high level, the demand is going to be high for a player like Antoine Griezmann. And many are going to be questioning, right? Why would you praise a player like Antoine Griezmann when you are now saying that Barcelona should sell Antoine Griezmann in the coming summer? Because yes, it's true that we have talked about that Griezmann has been playing very well for Barcelona, and he has shown goals and assists in very important matches. We have seen that in the past season. And so yes, Griezmann has done well, but the next question is going to be this: is these performances coming from Griezmann going to bring Barcelona to where they need to be? And the answer towards that question, it is going to be no, because there's just simply way too many tactical complications. What Griezmann is in football is a second striker. Griezmann is not a striker. Barcelona do need a striker. What Griezmann has been doing for Barcelona is to try and act as a striker as much as possible. And that is the last thing that Barcelona do need, is to have players to act as a different player and to readjust themselves. And that is going to lead us towards the next question. Then why bring Sergio Aguero? Because he is 33 years old. He's not going to give us many years. But here's the thing. This is why I do say that it's very important to understand that Barcelona must know the exact profile they need to be getting. Sergio Aguero is a much different profile compared to Antoine Griezmann. What Aguero is compared to Antoine Griezmann is that Aguero is a player that is a finisher. He is a striker. He is a number 9. He is a player that will look for those spaces in the box to score the goals. That is exactly what Barcelona have been needing in the past year, is a goal scorer, a finisher inside the box. Griezmann is not that. But that's going to be it, right? When it comes to Dembélé, if there is a specific strategic plan for this player, by all means go for it. But if there is some complications between Dembélé and Barcelona, then sell the player. As for Antoine Griezmann, if they are given the correct bid and Barcelona have a strategy behind the players that they are bringing in, like Memphis Depay and Sergio Aguero, then by all means go for it and sell the player. But that is going to be it for today's Barcelona Daily News. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.